Welcome to Empirical Pea Pod. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. If you could, please subscribe, follow, share, like, comment, whatever the hell happens when we do these things. I'm your host, Tim Day. Let's get to the show. All right.
Do you just ask questions?
Yeah, you'll see. It's already started.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So I'm back here again at Silver Springs because I do love it here.
I love it here too.
It's so nice. With Courtney DeLeo. Is that how you pronounce your name? DeLeo?
DeLeo.
You don't give a shit.
I used to, but it's so mispronounced. I just don't care anymore. If they care to ask, sure, I'll tell them.
What is it actually?
DeLeo.
Like it's spelled.
Yeah.
Like it should be.
Yeah.
How's your day been? It's been one, eh?
Yeah,
I had to work today. Here.
I had to work today. I had to clean a house today for a woman who we've been talking about real estate for the last month and a half. And then she broke the news to me today that there was an agent in the neighborhood.
She decided to go that route?
Yeah, so I was like, no, it's totally cool because that's going to happen. And I feel like today was that first time that's ever happened. So I'm like, all right, well, that's under my belt. I've gotten,
Yeah, that's
dumped.
true.
So,
dumped.
It is what it is.
Yeah, when's the last time you got dumped? When's the last time you even dated? Who knows?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So as you said, you've avoided the show so much so far because you hate everything that your friends do.
Oh my God! Absolutely not. That's not what I said. He's trying to spin a web here.
Yeah, I'm trying to put on a show. But they all kind of have a similar formula because we all came up together. I kind of started us all of basically where we all went after high school. Because you went to high school with us. Mm-hmm. You're part of the group at large. Mm-hmm. What did you do after? Did you go to college?
I did. I went to community college. I went to Abanzi for a couple years.
Yeah.
And I was going to school for full time. I was working full time. And then after 2 years, I moved down with a bunch of kids that I graduated with.
Yeah, because you're older than
I graduated in 2000, so 11 of us all went down to Bloomington to live. Some people went to ISU, some of the other ones that weren't ready, like me. We went to Heartland Community College, which was right there. So I was there for 6 months, and then I got really homesick, came home, and then tried to go to school here, ended up getting arrested. All that mess. So
we'll jump into that in a minute.
I had to drop out of all that.
Did you ever get a degree or anything?
I didn't.
Just some credits here and there?
I didn't. I never finished my associates. I'm literally less than 2 semesters away from finishing it.
Do you have any interest in it, or you're like, whatever?
I don't care anymore. For the longest time I did. It was really important to me. It's I will go back.
Just to prove to yourself.
I will finish. Yeah, but no, it's not. To me, I'm like, who cares? It doesn't matter to me.
There's something nice to grow out of that. I don't have shit to prove to anybody.
Exactly. Exactly.
But
and it doesn't mean as much as people put on it. It really makes no difference.
Well,
to a certain extent,
it means whatever you're going to put on it as an individual.
I guess.
I could give a shit less. You can give a shit less.
But there's so
to
many
some people, it means a lot.
Yeah, but I just don't.
We don't want to piss in their Cheerios.
True.
We just don't want any to piss in ours.
That's true.
So I didn't plan on getting into it this early, but you just brought it up. You were arrested. Mm-hmm. How? Because you're like this adorable, clean-cut lady. How the fuck did you get arrested?
I swear to God, people probably don't believe this story, but I had a few speeding tickets, so I got my license suspended.
Sure.
While my license was suspended, I got caught driving on a suspended license. So then I had court and I had all this. So I needed money for a lawyer. Yeah. And it was, it was August, so school was starting. I had just moved back from Bloomington, and I was, it was not just, but around then I was had tuition to pay for, I had books to pay for, I had all this. So literally, I was dating the guy I was dating at the time. I was sitting there and we were talking about. I'm like, dude, what am I gonna do? I have no money, and I don't want to not go to school this semester because I felt like if I didn't go that semester, that I was gonna be done.
Right.
I was like, I can't.
And at that time, you probably still cared, it meant something.
Yes, definitely. I was very determined then. So, And then, and I was like, you know, what am I going to do? And he's like, I was like, you know, he's like, you can, how far are we going? Are we rated R on this?
That is 100% up to you. There's no
He's
rules.
like, you know, he's like,
whatever
you can
you're willing to
sell-
share. Also, don't be afraid to be like, I don't want to get into that.
It is what it is. He's like, if you're willing to sell, yay, you know,
Yeah.
we can.
Or we're going to do street lingo. Good.
We can definitely, you know, get you some money quick, you know. And I was like,
I'm curious how many people are like, what the hell is yay right now?
Coke.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Okay, yeah. I'm telling the people, guys. So, yeah, it was so stupid. And, like, at the time.
As an aside, you've never partaken.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say.
You're not a drug
at the time,
addict at any point in your life.
Never. To this day, I've never put any cocaine in my body at all. Yeah. So, I'm like ashamed of this part, and I'm glad that I got in trouble for it, because had I not, I wouldn't have really thought about it this way. But like at the time, all of my friends were partaking,
Sure.
and it was so goddamn easy.
Yeah.
I was, you know, and this went on for 3 weeks. I made enough money to get my court date and my stuff all cleared. I was able to get my license back early.
In 3 weeks. Oh,
Shit
I guess
was awesome.
good thing you got caught, because realistically, I feel like it's easy to get caught up.
So listen, 3 weeks, and it was like mostly my friends and a couple of my friends' friends is how it was. So I got all my money, got my court date stuff. I was in school. In November, I get arrested at my house.
Yeah.
They had been following me for the last 3 months, because during that time,
3 months.
Yeah, during that time I had sold to an undercover cop.
I thought you only did it for 3 weeks.
I did. I sold for 3 weeks.
Okay.
They watched me.
Right.
For 3 months, and she tried to get me to sell her more.
Oh, I see.
And I didn't. I was like,
I'm
she
out the
kept
game.
calling. Yeah, I was like pretty much, and I told her the whole story too. I told her the whole story. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to pay for school, you know, blah blah blah.
You think she felt bad at all?
No, I don't think those people. And I don't blame her, because I'm not a victim, and I shouldn't have been doing that. It was so stupid. I think about my friends. That's what I was going to say. Like, I think about some of my friends who were participating in that, and like.
Yeah.
My big conviction of why I never did it was because I was terrified that I would fucking love it.
I'm sure there's a reason people
want to be doing it, right? And
yeah.
like, shit, I want to have a good time, you know. But like, I just something in me knew not to go down that path. And then, you know, there it is in my face. Not all my friends, but you know, friends and family are like doing dumb shit, and I'm just like, what is going on? You know, like this. I feel like got out of hand, and I felt. I knew it wasn't my fault, but kind of it was like I made it really goddamn easy for that to happen, you know? So
you're an accessory. I mean.
Yeah, I felt a lot of shame for that, especially after I got in trouble. It was like, damn, dude, like, because I was like, I didn't hurt anybody, you know, people, they were already doing it. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, girl, you were.
You can justify whatever you need to. That's how the human brain works, right?
Yeah.
But at what point in your life, or does the shame subside and you feel like you repaid your debt to society? Because you went to jail.
I did. I got sentenced to 7 years. I got 7 years or boot camp.
Yeah.
And I did the boot camp, so I was in
Who the hell would be like, 7 years sounds fine as opposed to boot camp?
Right.
That's crazy.
Well, here's the thing. If you fuck up in boot camp, they send you for your sentence. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So it's kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're either going to be in prison or you're going to.
Right. How was boot camp?
Really super hard.
Pain in the ass?
Super hard. But
How long is something like that?
It was only 120 days.
Okay.
So I was in jail I was in prison for a month and a half. And
like
then
4 months of boot camp?
Yeah.
That's not bad compared to 7 years.
Yeah.
God, can you imagine just losing that chunk of your life?
No, I couldn't.
Yeah, that's insane.
Out of nowhere, like, here I am, like, kicking ass at school, working full time, you know, think I'm clear, think I'm doing my thing, and it's like, oh wait, come back and pay for that shit. It's like, oh, that just changed the total, complete trajectory of.
Has the shame subsided then, or do you still feel like guilty to some extent?
At this point, I don't really think about it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm so far removed from that time.
Yeah, because this was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, this was literally, I was 21.
Yeah.
I'm so far removed from that time that it just, I forget about it, honestly.
Yeah, it's interesting to have lived.
And I'm not
like
around
this
the same
far.
people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
things are different, so.
Yeah. It's nice to have some of that space where it's like, oh shit, I forgot that was even a part of my story.
Yeah, no, it is. It's weird.
So what happens?
For the longest time, though, like, it kept me down. It kept me down for, like, a good 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be curious how that manifests itself into any traumatic episodes that happen later.
I think that a big sense of, I feel like when you go through so much shame, and it was like, I feel like kept pretty public. I feel like the fucking town of Oswego, if they knew me, they knew what was happening. You know what I mean?
It's all it's in the paper. Everybody recognizes his name. Like, and everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
So it was like that. You know, it.
I didn't know that. Until you told me.
I felt very like ashamed, and I kind of like, I was a very social person before that, and like had confidence.
Sure.
Some, you know what I mean? But like after that, it was just kind of like, ugh. And then I never felt like I fully recovered from that, because I wanted to be an attorney before that. I wanted to be a lawyer, and then I was like, I'll never do that. I have no idea what I want to do.
Why would you never be able to do that?
Because I would have felt like, first of all, it would have been at the time, after I saw kind of what all that was, I was like, ooh.
It probably puts a bad taste in your mouth.
It did. I was like, there's a lot of shady shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shady shit, and it's not about justice. It's about money. It's about favors for people.
Yeah.
And I didn't like any of that. I was like, I don't really want to be a part of that. But what the fuck do I want to do? You know, like, I had no idea. I literally had no idea. And so I stood there, and I'm in limbo for all these years, like bartending and taking care of kids. You know, like not being on my own path for my own self at all.
Right. Now, just to jump ahead for a second, now, for the last, has it only been like a year now that you've been doing real estate?
Yeah.
Do you feel that it's taken you these 20 years to kind of plug into something, or is this just another thing where you're like, this will pay the bills and I don't hate it, I enjoy this? Or is this like a genuine passion where like you love it?
I do love it.
Sure.
I do love it, and I'm excited about the fact that it's something that I could do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I don't have to like move up from here if I don't want to.
Yeah.
This could be
it's
it.
It's like your own little business of yourself.
Yeah, this could be it. And I love, like, I feel like I'll never work for somebody that pays me a paycheck ever again.
Right. Yeah.
Like I've run my own business now for 6-7 years. I have a taste of that.
Yeah, because you run a cleaning business.
Yeah, I have
also that you've done for forever.
Yeah, my cleaning business is what has been paid my bills since I stopped bartending. So I feel like this could be it. I love homes. I love people's houses. I love pretty homes. I love making them pretty.
Right.
So I loved cleaning for that. But now it's like I could help people on a much grander scale in real estate. It's because it's not just transactions of selling homes. It's like listening. It's like listening to people's like story, and you start with everybody that you know. You know, so it's like you're learning about all your friends, and you're figuring out like what you could do to help them, or if it's an older woman, and I've got no problem going and helping her paint her bathroom or painting her bathroom for her, or just whatever. I'm a hands-on person. I'm a earth sign. I'm a Taurus. I'm very like I want to change my practical what I can see. I love to like get in there. So there's a lot of room for that in real estate, which is really cool.
Sure.
And then once I'm older and I kind of like want to chill more, there's room for that too,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're really in control of your whole schedule completely. Like, do whatever you want. So going back to after you did some time in the can, that's what we call it. What did that look like? So then you get out, and the boot camp was 4 months, and you're around 21 years old. Is that when you kind of just start bouncing around, bartending, whatever, like just doing whatever?
Yeah, I came back. I was my hair was short as yours.
Really?
Yeah, I was bald when I came back.
Is that true?
They shave our heads every week.
That's awesome.
They shave our heads every week. It was
I wish you would make that your profile picture.
Oh my God. It's crazy because I had one picture. I had my ID card from like that, my inmate ID, and my head was shaved, and I held on to it for so long. And then I feel like in the last couple years, I don't know, but I saw it and I'm like, I'm fucking throwing
Yeah.
this thing away.
Well, there's a cleansing process, I feel
Yeah.
like. It's like time to purge.
Yeah,
This is-
totally.
I
I
don't
was
need
like,
this.
but it was crazy, like looking at that picture of myself with a shaved head. It's pretty like.
It's got to be jarring.
It is. It's that, and it's like slaps you in the face of like how much life has happened in all this time. You know what I mean? I feel like it's been a few years, but it's been 20 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
A lot. Yeah.
I mean, which is relative. I mean, depending on what you're talking about, 20 years is nothing. 20 years is a lifetime, depending on what you're really talking about. But where...
So I came back. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw us off on that. But I came back and, I did. My old job, I was working at the foundry. They let me come back.
I've been kicked out of there before.
I told them I was completely upfront with what happened, and they're like, yeah, whenever you're done, we'll have your back. So I went back, and I
like the idea that you're like, I'm going to jail.
Yeah, no.
Like, well, we'll see you when you get back.
They thought I was a badass because they were like, I had to wear an ankle bracelet. Oh, when I came back, they were like, damn, they really shaved your head. But I also had to wear an ankle bracelet for like 3 months too.
Did you deal with that in more places where it was like people are like, damn, this bitch has been to jail. She's the real deal.
Well, I kept
and you're sitting there like,
hey,
I'm not okay with this. Like, it's making me uncomfortable because I'm feeling ashamed, like I did something wrong, and you guys are being weird.
Yeah, no, I've got like, a couple friends who just think it's the funniest thing, and like every time we meet somebody new, they're like, you gotta tell them.
At this point, it's funny.
Yeah, but for a long time, I was like, oh my God, can we not? Like, I don't think it's cool. I don't feel cool because of that, please,
Yeah.
But I came back, I was on house arrest and just working. And that's what I did. I worked until I wasn't even off parole yet. And I moved out of my parents' house. Me and 2 girls that I worked with rented a little house in Boulder Hill. So I moved out when I think it was right after I turned 22. And then we lived there, and then I was just like kind of doing my thing, bartending, making a bunch of money, blowing a bunch of money because we would go out and drink on our nights off,
So you're making pretty decent money. The foundry was pretty popping.
During this time, I left the foundry. I was there for a while, left there, and then I was working at the Lantern.
Yeah.
I started working at the Lantern after I moved out, and then there I started making really good money.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
Do you ever miss it, the bartending?
No. I did it for so long and got so sick of it. Like, there was times where I was like, for the longest time I played with like, I'm so done. But then I was like, I'll miss it.
Yeah.
So I would stay
cash,
or I would
like
stop
right
and then
away.
go back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but no, at this point I don't miss it. I don't like to be up super late.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Anymore. And I also just got sick of it's just kind of like a low vibe thing.
It's a different atmosphere, right?
It is. Yeah. It's like,
Especially if you want to make money, you have to be in a particular atmosphere.
Yeah.
And you have to be a particular stereotype.
Yeah, you got to put on a show.
Sure.
It's exhausting.
It sounds tedious.
I
couldn't do it.
It is.
I also don't care.
You feel like a lion in a cage.
Yeah, like when
pacing
people...
back and forth.
Because people are like, oh, you'd be a good server. And I'm like, here's the thing. I don't have this sense of urgency. And I don't care about your fucking ranch cup. Like, you're going to hate me.
Yeah.
I can talk to people. Is that what you mean? Like, I can talk to people?
Yeah.
But I don't want to serve them food.
I'm kind of the opposite. I'm like, what do you need? You need me to do something? I'll do it. But I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about your divorce. I don't want to talk about, yeah.
So at some point here, during this time, because you have children.
Yep.
2 of them.
Yep. I did. I had a really good time for a few years. And then when I was 25 is when I got pregnant.
How old are your kids?
Bella is 15 and my son Jaden is 13.
Okay, they've been around a while.
Yeah. Yep. So I had fun for like a few years and then I got pregnant and then it was like, okay, no more drinking, no more smoking.
Did you cut it all off pretty easily?
It was easy. I felt gross. I felt so bad.
Yeah.
A cigarette did not sound good at all. I really wanted to smoke weed, but I was afraid. Eventually I did start smoking weed.
Sure.
And I have no regrets and I'm sorry if people find that controversial, but
I don't know.
It is what it is. I did it.
Nothing you said so far sounds controversial. Do you mean you smoked weed while you were pregnant?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
So I don't have an opinion.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people do, but that's what I did.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, so.
But yeah, I didn't. I mean, all that was pretty easy.
Having children.
No, they're not smoking or drinking while pregnant. But
did you feel robbed? Like,
I was not ready. Are you talking about having kids?
Yeah. As far as like having to give up this stuff and stop doing what you're doing.
I didn't feel robbed at all, but I felt like I had gotten myself in way over my head.
Sure.
Way over my head.
Now, were you already in an established like long-term relationship?
No, I was.
Or this was like kind of a new thing?
This was definitely new. I had been seeing her dad for less than 3 months.
Yeah.
When I realized I was pregnant, and then I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you guys are together for a while still. Cause
we stayed together.
Yeah, you only have one baby daddy though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we stayed together. I mean, by all, whatever.
Well, yeah, like you said, before we
got
on.
It turned out to be a very long-term relationship.
We don't have to get into the nitty-gritty. Before we got on, you said like you guys are like brother and sister at this point.
Yeah.
So you can co-parent, which
is
awesome. That's all that fucking matters.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But, so once we get past there, like realistically your kids now, I'm going to just skim through most of your life because it's probably boring mom stuff.
It is.
Ooh, you know what I want to talk about?
What?
If you're willing, is you have this amazing scar on your arm.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Is there a way to tell this story?
Yeah, so many people don't know this story, and I want them to know because I don't want them
this is a crazy
to not know
story.
How dangerous it is, first of all.
It's also like you fucking died.
Yeah, no, That's another crazy life experience that I don't think about that often, but yeah. So you want to know that story?
Please.
Okay, so you guys, this is a story about my arm.
Because this happened, where are we in your life when this happens?
Jaden is, it was April. Jaden was born in November. What was he, like 6 months old?
Okay, so this was a long time ago.
Yeah, this was 13 years ago. And I was scheduled to get my tubes tied the next day.
Yeah.
And
do they let you do that?
Well,
I had to fight. They don't really let you do
I had to fight with him because I wasn't married.
Yeah, you have to write a letter.
Yeah, I was under 30.
A man has to give you permission.
Yeah. So, it's funny that you say that because I had spoke to my doctor about I wanted it done right after I had him.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't want any more kids.
Right.
Like, this will be good,
Sure.
So, and then we never like firmed it up. I didn't push. It was like, I thought it was something that we would talk about the first time I saw him post whatever. But then I brought it up and he was like super trying to sway me out of it. Like,
they do not let a woman
he fought me.
It hasn't changed in the 20 years.
I mean, and I'm like, ooh, don't tell me, I'm a woman. Don't tell me about what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I was so pissed. And finally I was like, whatever. And he's like, here's the paperwork. You can't turn it in for a month. Yeah. We have to wait a month to schedule, blah, blah, blah. I was like, whatever. So I did all this. And then so I'm telling Eric, can you be home early tomorrow to help me with these kids? Because he said I'm probably not going to be 100%. Like, I shouldn't be like lifting the kids and blah, blah, blah. And we're arguing, going back and forth, and he's whatever. And I ended up wanting to go out to have a cigarette.
Yeah.
And I'm holding Jaden while we're like having our tiff. Yeah. I hand him Jaden, and I go to walk out the back door, and he says something that, like, you know how somebody says something that instantly pisses you off, and you're like,
especially as you're leaving,
you want to hit,
like,
you want to.
You thought you just got the last word.
Yeah,
but.
yeah. Like, it's like, oh, you want to hit them so bad, but you can't. But anyway, so I'm walking out, and I hit the door. I hit the storm door.
Yeah.
I punched the storm door. My arm went all the way through to. I didn't cut anything on my hand or my arm.
Yeah.
But like in the crease of my elbow, a 2.5 inch deep cut.
Yeah.
That severed my brachial artery and tore my bicep tendon. Right. Cut all kinds of nerves, ligaments.
You should have bled out. At the very least, you should have lost the arm.
Yeah. That's what immediately when it happens, blood's shooting out of my arm like I have a hose.
Right, like a movie, right?
Yeah, and I'm holding my arm, and I just like look at Eric, and I'm like, call the ambulance, and I walk outside, and I sit on the step, and I'm just like calmly like thinking to myself, like I knew how much blood I was losing. I'm like, you fucking idiot,
you're gonna pass out.
You're gonna die. You're gonna die right now. Like, what are you? You're so stupid. Like. Really, Court? I was like going through all of it. I was just like, oh my God. And then
I like when you think you're dying, you're like, I better be as mean to myself as possible on the way out.
I was so like angry, but I was also like in shock. Like,
I'll bet.
I didn't really do that. Did I really fucking do that? And like right when I did it, Eric was like, no, he starts screaming. So he's in the house frantic, like looking for something to like wrap, and I can hear him inside like, why the fuck would you do
Was there
that?
glass
was like,
in your arm,
no.
or was it just cut open?
Nope.
So you could still tourniquet, like grab something.
Yep, there was nothing stuck in my arm. It was, somehow there was like a piece of glass like that, and I don't even know.
Your miming will do well on the interview.
Yeah, well, if you guys could see, it was weird. But anyway.
There's a piece of glass stuck on the door that basically stabbed through your arm.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what happened. And so he comes out and he's got a big old towel and he's wrapping it. And a funny little tidbit for you guys. Here's a little juice for you. So I'm sitting there and like I'm shaking, like literally my whole body is like convulsing. I'm like fucking shaking, and I'm like really cold, and I'm like, I have to pee so bad. And he's like, just pee. And I'm like, should I?
You're going to the hospital anyway.
Yeah, he's like, just pee. He's like, you can't. I was like, okay. So I'm sitting on my back step, you guys, and I got this like freaking huge bath towel like wrapped around my arm, and I'm like holding tight, and I end up peeing.
And then you piss your pants.
Yeah, and then I'm sitting there, and 5 minutes later the ambulance shows up, and they're telling me, like, I'm asking them, am I gonna die? And they're like, we don't know. We're gonna do everything we can for you.
That's not really what you want to hear.
Yeah, they're like, we don't know. We're gonna do everything we can for you. We'll see, whatever. So then I get to the hospital. They're trying to draw my blood.
There's none in there.
Yeah, and they're stabbing me everywhere. Finally, they go in by like my groin.
Yeah.
Or like my hip, I don't really remember, around there to get blood. They could never get anything. They were like asking me, they were like, we need to know if you're pregnant, and I'm like, I'm absolutely not pregnant. I'm scheduled to get my tubes tied tomorrow. Like, I'm definitely not pregnant, So anyway, they're like, well, we need to get you into emergency surgery or whatever so that this all happens. I didn't know this, but while I was in surgery, and I had a 6-hour surgery.
Jesus.
While I was in surgery, they told my mom, we don't know if she's going to make it. She lost a lot of blood, and we don't know if she does. She probably won't have her arm.
You had to get a transfusion, I would imagine.
Yeah, yep. I had to get like 4 blood transfusions.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was not. They told me I was down to like 25% of the blood you're supposed to have in your body.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was not.
Yeah.
Like, it was. I quiver thinking about it. Like it was. I get shaky, just like, but
it's a terrifying story, like genuinely, because of how close everything. Like you still have your arm.
I still have my arm.
Got a gnarly scar.
I've got a scar. I've got it's pretty deformed. Like my biceps all weird. It's like balled up here, and I've got a lot of muscle atrophy because I've cut a lot of nerves I can't use.
Yeah.
A lot of my hand, I have like a lot of numbness, but
like your pointer finger does kind of.
My pointer finger doesn't bend. My thumb doesn't bend. Yeah.
Really, your thumb too?
I burn myself all the time and don't feel it.
There's no nerve endings anymore, right?
Yeah. So it's annoying, and it's my right hand too.
Are you right-handed?
No. Yeah. So it's like, but you know what? Then I started doing things like left-handed, and I feel like I don't know if it was the trauma of like being dumb, getting mad, and punching something that calmed me down, or the fact that I had to slow down.
Yeah.
And start.
Probably a mixture of the two things.
Yeah, I had to like.
Now you can be
use the other side of my brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Whatever. So.
It makes you stop in your tracks.
Yeah. Definitely slows you down.
So that's.
And I can't even make
crazy.
a fist anymore.
Well, you just have to use your other fist.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do have a strong left arm now.
Yeah, well, you're like a guy who masturbates with his left arm.
True. No, it's weird. It is. It is. So if you guys, that's why my arm looks weird.
I feel like it's barely noticeable unless like you know to look for it.
Yeah.
Like
my hands are really noticeable, but I keep my arms covered a lot.
Do you feel self-conscious about it?
Super self-conscious about it. Yeah.
Because I remember, we had hung out a long time ago, and it was the first time we ever talked. And you told me that story, and then at the Christmas party, you wore this incredible dress. And it was the first time I'd ever seen you with your arms out.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see it, but it's not noticeable unless you're looking for it.
Yeah.
Because you just look stunning all the time.
Well, thank you, but thank you.
I know that felt like a compliment, but I'm more annoyed. So that's your one good story for while you're essentially doing motherhood.
Yeah.
So your kids at this point are kind of old enough to, for the most part, take care of themselves. Obviously, you're always still mom, and they're teenagers. But they're pretty self-sufficient.
Super self-sufficient.
Are you close to them then?
I feel like I am. I feel like I'm a lot closer with my kids than I was with my mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
But I feel like
you're the kind of person who tries to be the cool mom.
I am. I was just about to say, like, I, like, try to engage with them so much that they're like, get away from me.
Yeah.
You know? But I don't know if it's, like, the age that they are or if I'm just super obnoxious. But, like, my kids know.
Two things can be true.
My kids know that I love the shit out of them. Like, I pour love onto them.
Sure.
And I act crazy and I cuss at them and I'm a bitch sometimes, you know, but.
That's part of being a parent,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, but they know that.
Yeah. So I guess I'm curious too then if you try to be the cool mom, what does that look like then discipline-wise versus how you came up?
What happens is I can't hit my kids.
Right.
I can't hit my kids. I mean, I have, like, you know, when they were little or something they did wrong, I would spank them on their butt or, like, if...
But you're talking about a deterrent, not abuse.
Yeah.
Right. Like, well, it's easy if you say, yeah, I hit my kids.
Well, I just feel like when I was young, you know, and if I said something out of line, somebody would paw off and backhand me right in the mouth. And, like, I didn't raise my kids like that. So I feel like I give them more freedom to be who they are.
Yeah.
You know, but as far as discipline goes, like, I get mad at them, but then they also, like, are really good at making me laugh. No, it pisses me off. Like, I'll try to be, like, stern, but then, like, sometimes it's like I don't really care that much. I just want the control of them to listen to me.
Well, you still have to be mom. Sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's like, but then when they kind of push my boundaries, I'm just kind of like, oh, fuck. You know, like, I don't know. I have really good kids.
Yeah, well, that's
so it like
good. That's
I don't it
speaks
like,
back to co-parenting and putting in the work and actually caring about the kids.
I'm super like I'm like all the time. I'm like, thank God they're not challenging me in really bad ways.
Yeah.
You know, like because I don't know how I would be.
Do you feel like you were challenging when you? Don't you have a brother? Mm-hmm. Do you guys are you close in age?
Yeah.
Like within
super
a year
close,
or two?
yeah. Like we're 13 months apart.
Yeah, like me and my sister are like a year or two
Yeah,
apart.
and we grew up super close. Like he was my bestie.
Did you guys, when you were coming up, did you feel like you were challenging for your parents?
Yeah. I felt like I don't feel like I was that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely was like smoking in 5th grade and sneaking out and shit when I was in high school. Like I was no angel. I was definitely doing stuff. But
even like sneaking out sounds like a bad thing. Like what were you sneaking out to do?
Go hang out with guys, go to parties, go hang out with people who were way older than me doing ecstasy on a Thursday night for no reason.
Now we just covered how you never did cocaine.
I didn't.
And then you're doing ecstasy.
No, I resisted that too. I think I've done ecstasy like twice in my life, maybe 3 times.
I like that you said, no, I resisted that, but I've done it twice.
But I waited until I was like 20s, like early 20s.
Yeah.
I didn't do it early, like...
Was it fun?
It was really nothing special. I mean, it was like the 4th of July. We were watching fireworks. I didn't really notice anything crazy.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing that people like. It's a stereotypical thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, do these drugs for this event.
Yeah, it didn't make that big of a difference. Like I wasn't.
I'd rather do these drugs and then just sit here by myself and kind of stare at space.
Mm-hmm.
So now that your kids are older too, and so you've run the business, you have your cleaning business for the last almost 10 years. You've gotten into real estate now. Do you think that is the goal to get rid of the cleaning business?
Yes, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I feel like it doesn't serve me anymore.
Right.
I feel like I've outgrown it. I feel like, and I try to be super mindful when I start to get a bad attitude about it because I am so grateful that I had it.
Sure.
And that all of my people that I worked for were like, I had like no bad experiences. I was so lucky.
Yeah, well,
and
8 years is a long time to have your own business like that too.
and I went from being like this broken, scared person, and it was like an outlet to like really help me grow. It gave me some confidence. It definitely like served me very well, but now I feel like I'm ready for the next thing.
Yeah.
Like I want to put that behind me and move on to the next chapter.
Does that coincide with your divorce, or is that
the cleaning or the yes?
So you
because I was like, what am I gonna do?
Right.
I can't.
So your guys' relationship had evolved to the next step of not being together.
Yeah, we separated.
And then you were like, all right, I'm gonna start my own shit now.
Yeah, because I wanted to work during the day.
Right.
while the kids were at school because I don't want to pick up more bartending
and kind of
shifts.
have your own control over your schedule in general.
Yeah, and like I had cleaned for like family and friends, and it was always kind of like, Court, you should start a cleaning business, because I'm like, I like to clean.
Yeah.
And it was always like, whatever. But then like during that time, I was like, dude, maybe I should, maybe I should, I'll try. And it ended up like blowing up. Like my schedule was completely full within like 2 months.
I'm always a big component of trying everything.
Yeah.
Because like I don't measure success on quote unquote success.
Yeah.
So much as success is throwing as much at the wall as you can.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that.
Sticks.
Yeah.
Like, try everything, man.
Yeah.
Like there's something out there that the world's waiting for you to do.
Yeah.
Fucking start knocking them out. See what happens.
Yeah.
So it's hard because we as human beings, it's hard to look at it that way because we're like, oh, I tried this thing and I failed, or I tried this thing and it wasn't what I thought it would be. It's like, that's okay. Keep doing
part
it,
of
man.
success is failing a ton of times and
my
whatever.
old boss
Not
always
being
said, fail
having
up.
the courage, just having the courage to do stuff is success.
Right.
So
just
many
to try
people
stuff.
hide from anything.
Right.
They don't want to,
Yeah. Well, right, and that's what we did with your cleaning business. It was like, I'm ready to invest in myself, take a chance on myself.
it was, and I said it gave me confidence. It was a big, way outside my comfort zone thing.
After your
way
relationship
outside.
had dissolved, did you feel very self-conscious and insecure? Or did you feel that was a coming out?
No, I definitely had like very, very bad self-worth, self-esteem coming out of that. And I don't know.
Just so we're clear, all of us are kind of up and down, right?
Yeah.
Like in ebb and flow.
Yeah.
Do you feel different now, or do you feel still kind of like down here?
I ebb and flow. I had a really solid like few years there where I felt like I was like really mentally doing strong and doing good, and then
mentally doing strong.
Doing strong, like I just felt like I was in a place where you just got to take care of care of yourself.
Well, that's the segue I wanted. Right?
Yeah.
What you just said, to talk about self-care. What does that look like with somebody that's got 2 kids, is co-parenting, has been through these, like, even though we just joked about you being in jail and almost dying, these are huge traumatic things. Mm-hmm. That's not even to talk about whatever your childhood was and whatever your family stuff is that we all have. Mm-hmm. What does self-care look like for you today?
Today, self-care is doing myself favors. Like, it's like little things, like, stuff like, like getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
Making sure that like I'm eating food that's not crap, that's making me feel like crap. Mm-hmm. Like making sure that I'm taking vitamins, making sure that I'm washing my face at night before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Because I don't, like it's little things that for the longest time I was like, I don't have time to worry about myself. Whatever. It is what it is. I got to make sure the kids are taking their vitamins or that they're eating healthy.
So how do you incorporate your self-care with your kids, or do you keep it separate? Because I got to think that they're seeing what you're doing, and you're trying to put these values into them as well.
Yeah. I always try to, like, I try to be a model for them. Like, I'm walking now, but for the longest time I was running 2 miles every morning, and I was, the kids knew that, like, and it was kind of hard because my daughter's watching me kind of like restrict myself, but like, cause like I would be like, I don't want to eat sugar.
Sure.
Sugar's really bad for you, So like, almost everything has sugar. So it's like, I had to avoid a bunch of stuff, and it would be like.
What do you mean that's a problem?
I didn't want her to get an unhealthy relationship with like certain foods, just because of I had like.
I mean, sugar is, if she can
for sure
feel that now, that would be huge for her later.
Yeah, no, and I tried to educate, like, I don't buy like pop and stuff like that, and it's like.
I've had pop since
2009. I wish that I could control my kids' diet, but like from the jump, that wasn't going to happen. Like people were going to give them things, and it was like I don't want them to like.
Which is one of the most frustrating things ever when you are trying to.
Yeah, and I thought I would, but then it got spoiled right off the jump.
Well, because everybody's got a different idea.
Yeah.
And they don't even ask you. Like, it's insane the liberties that somebody will take with your children.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But which is frustrating. But like, it's easy to just be like, okay. But even still, like, okay, one candy bar isn't going to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
We still, at home, this is how we live.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, we don't have the pop, we don't have the sugar. And there's replacements for everything.
Yeah.
Like
Water.
yeah, I love water, so like,
I'm like, but it's like, that's another thing. That's the self-care thing, like hydrated. So I'm like, you guys,
Yeah.
you need to drink more water. Like, you know, like I like try to tell them, but I don't like make them.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't be crazy about it, but I feel like I do try to show them by example.
Sure.
You know.
Which makes sense. I mean, realistically, that's the best you can do.
Yeah.
Is just lead by example.
Yeah.
So aside from these little things, what else do you self-care for yourself? Like,
I spend so much more time alone now.
yeah.
And I always used to be really like
Uncomfortable alone?
yeah, like it was just kind of like nobody wants to hang out with me. Like I would like, and it was not that I was even trying to hang out with people. I just
Sure.
felt like
Yeah.
by myself. And
Well,
like
some of us hit you up to hang out and never hear from you.
well,
so.
I mean, because now I'm just
Now
kind
you
of
don't have
like
to be alone.
I don't know. I just feel like I need time to like
Recharge.
yeah,
is
big
huge.
time. I'm a big time like
Yeah.
I recharger, you know.
Yeah, which
especially
makes a lot of
when
sense.
when I start getting overwhelmed with life, I like isolate.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Super
Actually.
isolate, and it's just kind of like I don't know. I've gotten into a more productive state in that state, if that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
It does
you know?
make sense. Well, because you focus on what you want to do,
Yeah.
like whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Like for me,
Like little things
you know,
to underwhelm me.
exactly.
You know,
like when I isolate, I like to read. You know, I'll play video games. I can't deal with the outside world.
yeah,
Like, and people don't get that.
yeah,
But I'm like, I don't need you to understand.
Yeah.
I'm not coming outside.
yeah. I want to wake up and not brush my teeth, not change my clothes, not take a shower, not
Right.
leave my house.
Yeah.
I want to be in my own little cocoon. I'm usually like cleaning something or organize something or like fucking with my plants or doing little stuff that like I don't really have time for during like a crazy where I wake up, I go do my exercise, I
Right.
come home, I get ready
Yeah,
for work,
your
I go to
kids
work,
in
I come
school,
home,
right,
I make
yeah.
dinner, I fucking do the dishes. You know what I'm saying? It's like
It's outside of the mundane routine.
yeah. So some days when I get those days, it's like, yes, dude, I don't have to do anything today. I'm just gonna
Now,
like.
do you schedule yourself for those days, or do you just kind of, when they come, you really value them?
So funny that you just said that because I just in the last couple weeks I learned about cycle syncing,
Yeah,
and that's where because women have all different hormone cycles throughout the
Sure.
month,
that's true.
and so I'm learning about them, and so for this past month for August I scheduled my harder houses. I
Yeah.
moved them up on a week that I knew I'd feel more energetic.
That's
and
smart.
yeah, and I did a couple things, and now I'm like, well, I'm gonna take these 2 days off. I'm gonna
Yeah.
open myself up for these 2 days just to like. And I learned about how important it is to give yourself like the rest. Like I do a lot of fasting, and
Yeah.
they're like, it's a lot of like you don't want to fast during like the last part of your like while you're PMSing. Pretty much,
Right.
your body's like, give me carbs, give me GABA.
You
like
gotta keep it running.
yeah, like give me some stuff. And I used to like super like deprive myself, and now it's just kind of like, no, I'm just gonna kind of go with like how I'm feeling.
Right. It's
you know?
huge to be in tune with your body.
Yeah, and I'm more than ever. I never used to be at all. I never paid
Yeah.
attention, but now I'm just like, and like it's like I'm realizing with like the self-care, like, yeah, it makes a huge difference for me to get good sleep.
Yeah.
Like for bartending and having kids, like I would
Sure.
get like 5 hours of sleep every night, and like you're not running your best at
No,
all, like
yeah.
that at all.
That's
you
my
know?
problem now is I don't sleep well. I get like maybe a couple hours
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah, and I don't drink alcohol that much. Like when I'll socially drink, definitely. I'll socially drink, but like when I'm at home, like I don't drink. Like there's no reason because it's gonna make me feel like shit the next day. It's
Right.
gonna make me tired. It's gonna make me make bad food choices.
It's also not for nothing when you don't, like I don't drink at all either, and then if you go somewhere, you can get a buzz so much faster.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Because it'll hit you so much
My
harder.
friends know that's true.
Hell yeah, we've seen it.
Yep, yep.
So, and also getting in line with what you were just saying, cycle syncing, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
Like it's insane.
It's so cool.
It's insane
so
how many
things
people
started
don't know about that.
I made so many connections in my brain when I started thinking about all this. It was like, dang. Now if I'm paying attention to it, makes a big difference.
I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I'm going to look into that.
Yeah, do it.
How do you partner that with, because I know you're also into astrology.
Yeah.
How do you partner those two things? Because it's the same thing.
Can I tell you something funny?
Please.
My cycle runs with the the lunar cycle.
Really?
Yeah. For like the last few years. I mean, it's not always exact.
Sure.
But it's around that time. And it's all kind of like, the seasons are all kind of about the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So yeah, you can definitely tie them together. And like,
Yeah.
there's a whole world that I haven't explored, but like, there's a whole world about like deliberately syncing the two, if you know what I'm saying.
For sure.
Like rituals and
Oh,
like
yeah.
all that. There's like, I've never explored any of that. Like, just barely skimmed over. I know that it exists, but like, yeah, I mean, I feel like that stuff is powerful.
Dude, the
I feel
feminine
like
energy
like,
involved in that is insane. Like,
it is.
obviously, I've never experienced it, but I've
there's
known
so much
people that
energy.
have done stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds cool, but I'm not allowed because I don't get a period.
Oh, but men do have
No,
different.
yeah, it's again, like you were saying, it's energy based.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily.
You guys might even be more tied to the moon.
Yeah.
You know, because of the lack of monthly.
Fallopians.
I mean, I don't know, but yeah, I mean,
It's probably
we've talked about this. We both know
Yeah.
that the moon's got crazy influence
That's
over
true.
us.
Yeah. Ooh, there's an airplane. I like that.
Yeah.
I love that stuff too. It makes me wish that you had listened to the show at all, because the first episode or the first guest is Katie Leeser.
Yeah. Girl, I'm gonna listen to it all tonight. And now that this is, you know.
You were waiting to do this first.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, because now you don't have anything to compare yourself. So
right.
Everybody else is like, oh, Courtney's just like everybody else on the show, but you're like, hell yeah, nailed it.
Right. I'm a weirdo. I don't know.
No, I like your style. I think it's fine. It doesn't matter. But she's really into that stuff, and she's getting deep.
That's cool.
She's getting seriously deep and doing amazing things that she's going to show to the world at some point.
Oh, I cannot wait.
And yeah, it's really cool to listen to her, and if you feel compelled to reach out to her, because she'll
I
talk
want
your
to
ear
learn.
off.
Yeah, I want to learn all of it.
Yeah, she's really, man, can't talk enough about
And
her.
I mean, it's just like, it's hard to find, like, Annie and I talk a little bit about it,
Yeah.
you know, but it's hard to find people who, like, give a shit or know anything about it or care.
Yeah, well, I can guarantee you that our friend Jason Carey has probably turned the show off by now. He's
Oh.
like, this asshole's talking about her period, and
Well, he also
fucking-
hates 311, so F you, JK.
To be fair, they're not good.
Just kidding, I love you. Oh my God, you're another one, whatever.
I don't hate them, but they're the most pretentious band I've ever seen in my life. Which is fine, you're allowed to be.
I mean, yeah, I can't argue about that.
Right.
Whatever. I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, I'm more of a Chili Peppers guy.
Ew.
Yeah. I'm going to pretend you didn't just do that.
Sorry. They were at Lala last Sunday.
Yeah. Did you go?
I went to listen to Lana. My son is obsessed with Lana, so we went, but we didn't go in.
Oh, I
Tickets
saw what you
tickets
talking
were
about,
like
too.
between like, I didn't get them right away. They were like $140 right out of the gate, and I waited
yeah.
like an idiot. Then they went up to like $300, $500.
I wouldn't go even if I had the money. Like, it's free to watch on Hulu.
No, I know. We were streaming it.
I watched Billie Eilish.
We were streaming. We watched most of it. We went like
killed
Sunday. We went like Sunday at like 5.
Yeah.
So it's not like we were there all weekend.
It's
But
still like a good trip too. Just hang out, listen to some tunes.
kids like to go down there.
Yeah.
You know, it's a cool atmosphere.
Billie Eilish killed it though.
Did she?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
only one I watched. I didn't recognize anybody's name
Yeah, I don't know any of them.
except for her, and
I don't even know who all was there. I know Lana was there, and I know
didn't even know
Chili
the Chili
Peppers
Peppers were going to be there.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah, they're there Sunday night, I think, too.
Everybody with half a brain would love them.
Okay.
What don't you like about them? If you tell me the lead singer, I'd be like, well, yeah.
I don't like the lyrics.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't
They're
like
stupid.
the lyrics. Yes, they're absolutely stupid.
Yeah, they're dumb.
Yeah.
And they're all about California.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I can. If you can get past that initial, there's quality in there somewhere. If you can dig for it.
Funky vibes musically, I guess sometimes.
Sometimes.
I don't know what to tell you. I can't with the Chili Peppers. We're not going to come to.
This is the saddest I've ever been.
But like, it's like, how do I not be disrespectful to a band that like has dumb lyrics and they're like super famous for what? Really dumb lyrics.
It's funny because you know who I was listening to earlier today was Primus. Do you like Primus?
I mean, I never like really got into
If you want
Primus.
to talk about dumb lyrics.
Yeah, but I mean, during the time,
Yeah.
during its heyday, that was just fine for me. It was just fine. And I did like, I don't dislike the Chili Peppers. I did like the Chili Peppers. They had a couple songs that I like really liked, but
If you were more like lead singer's kind of rapey, I'd be like, yeah, totally. That I could get.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them.
You think all of them?
I don't know. They're all. I don't know. I don't want to say anything else bad about
Nobody
them.
cares.
I don't want to hurt
Oh,
your
yeah,
feelings.
in case they hear the show.
Yeah. Nick, if you hear this, call me. Nick is the 311 singer.
Oh, Nick Hexon?
He's married. He's not going to call me.
Yeah, also, why would you...
And also...
He's the pretentious part of the band.
I just wanted to be like,
Is
hey,
that the
man,
kind of guy you have
just
a crush
so you
on?
know, I love you. That's it.
Ugh.
I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding, but, you know.
I don't know how to
I'm
unpack
sorry, this interview just went south.
Well...
Bringing up the Chili Peppers. All because of Jason Carey.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like 311.
Yeah.
And I guess you don't either, and I don't get it, but you got it.
I don't hate them. They're too good of musicians to hate. But, like, I don't know, they have stupid lyrics also. I don't see a difference between them.
But they have a lot of really awesome lyrics.
So Chili Peppers, like I said, to me they're almost identical, except one's more rapey than the other.
Okay.
But again, you have to dig for it, and I'm not gonna tell you to dig for it. Do whatever the fuck you want. There's other bands that are better than both of them.
Yeah.
That I would tell you to check out instead.
Yeah.
But let's get back on track.
Okay. No more negative talk about the bands.
Yeah, unless it comes up again.
Okay. Then we can.
Let's. I forget where we even were.
Astrology. We were talking about astrology.
Self-care.
And you were saying, because we were talking about how some people just aren't into it and they don't care and they think people are into that woo-woo crap and it's nothing, but it's important.
Do you consider yourself into the woo-woo crap?
Yes, and I want to get into it more. I just wish I had more time to dedicate to my education.
I'm out there in the woo-woo, but I don't consider myself a woo-woo person.
I do. I feel like it was always kind of in me. And I talked to one of my friends about this a long time ago because it was before I started doing yoga. And she got into yoga and she's like an instructor. She's awesome. And I was like, I really want to, start doing yoga. I feel like that's kind of like, I'm like a sisterly hippie type, I'm like, I just feel like that's kind of in me. She's like, oh, totally. Like, that's 100% you. And then when I started learning more about like the astrology and the spiritual world, part of me felt like, yeah, I always kind of knew that.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
Connected to it.
Yeah.
It's like somebody finally explained how I've always felt.
Resonated.
That's how I felt when I started doing yoga and learning more. Because when I started, I'm a different kind of person. I didn't want to just do yoga just to do yoga. Mm-hmm. When I started, I took an intro course with this amazing teacher who it was an 8-week course where you learn the history, you learn the whys and the hows and all this stuff. I took an 8-week course of journey through the chakras.
So cool.
So every week was a different chakra.
Oh, I love that.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
And this particular teacher had written all these courses. So it was just an experience with just her and the people that were there with us. And then when I felt comfortable enough that it's almost like a bogus kind of earning, respecting the practice.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, now I can start my own practice. Don't get me wrong, this is years ago.
But you had to honor the...
I had to honor what I felt was an honor of it.
Yeah.
And luckily I had the right teachers at my disposal.
That's awesome.
But and again, that was years ago and I've fallen so far off the horse. That's what I'm trying to get back to.
Yeah.
Is, just, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah, I go through phases. Like right before the pandemic hit was when I was consumed. I was really into it. I mean, I was going through my healing journey, and I needed something. I needed something that was so comforting, and I'm the kind of person that once I can kind of understand why something's the way it is, then I'm like, okay, awesome, that's cool.
When it makes sense to your brain, it's so easy to let it go.
Yes.
And just be like, oh, that's how it is.
And that was another thing. That was a part of it. I needed to, a big part of that is learning to let go of everything.
Yeah.
You have to strip all of that bullshit away to really get to, the chakras and, all of the energy and different parts of everything. And it's just you at some point, I was so raw. Yeah. That I was sucking it up like a sponge, and I was feeling great. I was carrying my crystals around me, and I felt like it helped me. I felt like it
felt better.
Healed. Yeah, it healed so many parts of me.
It's one of those things too where people are it's bullshit too. And I'm like, it's
Even if it's placebo, it's a
literally,
mindset.
right.
It's
It's still energy. Like everything that exists is a vibration.
Yes. Yep.
Like
I
atoms
love it.
vibrate. That's how everything exists.
Yeah.
So you can tell me that crystals are bullshit if, depending on how you're processing the information. We know that atoms vibrate. These crystals are made out of atoms. Therefore, they're vibrating. Therefore, they have energy.
Yeah.
Like this
Yeah.
table has energy. The fucking trees, the
Yep.
grass, anything that exists has energy.
Yep.
Because you're closed off to it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
100%.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I'm glad that you understand that.
Yeah. I don't feel
So many
the need.
people are just like, what the are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's like a vibe. Like that. It's a relative vibe. Is like a vibration.
That's
like
literally what the word
it
vibe
is.
fucking
Yeah.
means.
Yeah. Like it is. And I'm fascinated with how different crystals heal different things.
Yeah.
And it's like
They vibrate at different frequencies.
right.
Which zero in on specific things.
Chakras.
Right.
It's crazy. It's awesome.
I agree completely. Like when I started getting into that,
It's such a gift. It's such a
yeah.
gift to us.
Yeah.
It's like a
It
gift
is.
that really helps you get through this thing.
it's nice,
You know?
for sure. But it's awesome to like go to a crystal shop, and like because you're drawn to stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, it'll pull you in, and you can feel the energy of where you're going in the shop, which can be overwhelming because it's all centralized.
Yes.
But then you pick something up, and you can just feel it like surging.
Yeah.
Through your hand, and you're
Yeah.
like, holy
this
shit.
belongs with me, or
Yeah.
you know, like this. I know this is powerful. Or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
I was lucky even once I was going to, when I was doing the trauma training for trauma therapy up in Crystal Lake. It was at this little crystal shop called Evolve. That was amazing before the lady that owned it sold it. And there was a lady there that made jewelry. She had this amazing chakra bracelet that I would, like fell in love with. It had like all my favorite stones, one for each chakra and everything, and then put in with onyx in different pieces and stuff. And I was like, this is awesome. It was $80. And it's worth $80.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't have this money, but like this piece, I want it so bad. What can I do? Like, can you just like hold on to it or something? And she's like, if it's speaking to you, you need to take it.
Aww.
And I'm like, holy shit, are you kidding me? Like, I can't just take, like, I appreciate what you're saying, but like, you made this is your livelihood. Like, one of the annoying things about friends is thinking that they should give you what they work for free.
Yeah.
Like, no, you should pay for it because support your fucking business.
Yeah.
But it blew my mind, and she let me have it, and I was like, this is incredible. I still have it to this day, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but like, that's the kind of thing, and that's the kind of community
Exactly.
when you understand that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if it's speaking to you, it is yours.
Yeah.
Like, it's been waiting for you,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
So,
And
I love
she is exactly where she should be, right in that shop, having beautiful, you know,
I mean, that was a long time ago. I hope she's still making
having
stuff.
beautiful energy herself, blessing
Oh,
people
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's so cool.
Yeah. Have you ever done any kind of blessing thing like that?
What do you
Because
mean
you're not like a religious person.
Not really. I mean, I was raised Catholic,
You're right, but then
but
when
I
you
don't
reach
practice.
the age of reason,
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
I don't want to do this.
100.
Like, it's like, because you can do...
But I am spiritual. Like
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
you know.
just by being in tune with energy is a form of spirituality, and any kind of yoga practice is spirituality. But, like, because with crystals, you can make elixirs, you can do blessings and things like that. Have you ever made an elixir or anything like that?
I haven't made any elixirs, but I have done like full moon rituals, new moon rituals with my crystals.
Have you ever cleansed in the full moon?
Like I leave my crystals out to charge under the full moon.
Or bury them in the dirt.
I've never done that.
Yeah, I've never buried mine.
I've never done
Actually,
that.
when I lived with Katie, I
think
did in one of her plants.
Yeah.
I buried some crystals.
I mean, I'm not against it. I'm just not sure, like, which crystal. Like, some of them you can get wet, no problem.
Yeah.
Some of them you can't get wet. And it's like, I don't really want to take the time to figure out which ones can be buried, which ones can't be. And, I mean, I've got a ton, you know. It's like,
yeah.
I don't want them all dirty, you know. I mean, I guess I could put them in something and bury that. I never thought about that. But that's
true. The biggest thing
don't
is,
know.
like, it's always the biggest piece.
But I like
is
to
always
get a
intention.
ground. But I like to, when I get a new crystal, I like
ground
to
it.
spend time with it and
Oh,
like
yeah.
ground myself with
That's
it.
critical.
Yeah.
Like, I bought a lot of crystals for people, and I have two schools of thought. One is don't touch it at all, because I don't want to put anything in it, or touch it until you give it to them, to create an intention within the stone.
Yeah.
And to try to trigger that energy of intention.
Yeah.
And then leave it to them, whatever they're going to do.
Yeah,
with
I
that.
do that stuff when I get my crystals,
Yeah.
when I first get them.
That's my favorite part is just kind of, it's like, because I don't meditate like most people think of a meditation, but I will sit with new crystals and just kind of be just with them.
I was just going to say, one of my favorite things is to sit with my crystals and like just turn them in my hand with like the sun, when the sun's coming through.
Yeah.
Like I've seen so many different like some of my, like I have a big raw rose quartz, and like
Rose quartz is my favorite.
I had it forever, and then
Yeah.
I was sitting there looking at it one day, and I noticed all these little rainbows in it.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this thing is even more cool than I thought.
Yeah.
I'm looking at all the other ones, and it's really kind of hard to see like some of the darker ones, like all the different colors that are really in it. But you hold it in the light, and it's just like, I'm like a kid. I'm like, whoa. Like I feel like I just opened up a treasure box, and like it's just shining and like coins. It's just like, oh my God. It's like, I don't know. It's just so cool to me.
I love that. There's a particular reason I love that, and it's the same kind of thing like when I see a rainbow, or like even like sitting right here, like you see all the little stuff jumping in the water.
Yep.
And the stillness of the water, and like that's not for anybody. That's for us because we're the only ones noticing it, and it's only happening in this moment. That'll never happen again. Like I've said it a bunch. It takes a million miracles to make each moment.
Yeah.
And it's insane when you can step back and realize you're a part of them.
Yep.
And like this what we're doing, aside from it being recorded, there's no proof that it exists, and it doesn't matter that it exists, other than to you and I had a conversation and sat down like friends.
Yeah.
In this beautiful spot.
Yeah.
Like it's insane.
Yeah. It's just.
It's crazy to me that that's not thought of or talked about more.
Yeah, I think it's just so hard to wrap your head around. How do you find the right words to describe how freaking awesome that is? You know?
Yeah, it's almost worth not putting words to it.
And
It would be a disservice to put words to it.
Yeah, and there are people, you know, there are people who just don't notice, don't care, don't care to notice. You know, it's just like, but for the other ones, it's such a gift. It's such a gift.
It's cool to share that with somebody too. Like, you know, it's awesome because at least like you and I here, and our vibrations and energy, like we'll take this with us, and we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
To anybody that'll listen.
Yeah.
And be like, man, we really had this moment, and it was
And do you
fucking
feel
incredible.
like anytime I feel like this, and I feel like we're so alike in a lot of ways. You maybe feel like this too. And you, like we had talked about how you had spent a lot of time here. Do you feel like nature is just so healing? Like any time, even if I'm just out walking in my neighborhood, being outside is healing. But like a place like this, like I'll always take something from this, just because of the peace that it brought me.
Ooh, and now lightning bugs are out.
Yeah. Oh my
I
God.
fucking love lightning
Yeah.
bugs.
It's just like.
I agree. Because at first I'm always, I get frustrated because, okay, it's gross out. I'm a big boy and I'm gonna sweat. Here's the secret. I've been skinnier, I sweat still.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be uncomfortable. It's gross out.
Yeah.
But it's still like
worth it.
What do you want to focus on? Okay, you're gonna sweat in front of a pretty lady, but you're still fucking out here on the water, enjoying everything, having an amazing conversation.
Yeah.
And you know what? Fuck her. She can watch me sweat.
Yep. She doesn't even notice. She notices the beautiful colors of the sky and the birds and the bugs making noises behind us. And
that's my favorite. I like recording outside too because like that's all coming through crystal clear in the mics. All the bugs and all the background noise. That was one of the caveats of doing the show too, is like fitting it into life and not pretending that life doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like there's dogs barking, there's cars driving by, like lawnmowers, planes. Yeah, if you want to get together with somebody and make time, life's going to be happening around you, man.
Yeah.
Like, just do what you can, enjoy what you can. Like, fuck, you either want to or you don't.
Yep.
But yeah, I still fish out here too. Like, it's shitty fishing out here. But I just love it.
I've caught one fish out here in my life. I caught a trout here.
Really?
On opening day.
I say it had to be opening day.
Yep, it was opening
quick.
day of the trout, and I mean we fished here over 100 times. I've never caught anything else besides that one trout.
Yeah, I've caught a lot of snakes, frogs.
Ooh, I've seen a bunch
turtles.
of snakes. I've seen a bunch of snakes here. More fish. Well, that's not true because that water is so clear you can literally see all of the fish. They just never want to come bite your bait, or mine anyway.
Yeah. There's another lake over here.
I fished that one too.
Yeah, that one's got all the carp and gross stuff in it.
Yep. I just had bad luck out here.
Yeah, but it's so beautiful. It's close also.
It's close. It's beautiful. There's trails you can walk. They used to
Yeah.
have. Do they still have the paddleboard things?
No,
They
this
don't?
place
Oh.
is gone now. The little store
Yeah.
where you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all closed up.
Oh, that's sad. Yeah, I don't think I was here at all last year, or I haven't been here at all this year. So.
It's a cool spot. Especially like me, I want to move my body more too. So when I'm out here, I would like the idea of like just walking around the lake.
Yeah.
Like just to get myself moving.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. What else do we got to talk about?
What else? Do you have anything?
Do we cover it all?
Do you have anything you want to talk
I'm the host. I can't get into my
know.
shit.
Well, I'm here for it though.
This will be the second hour when we flip the script.
We should do that. I mean, you said if some of them want to do their own show, it's like, yeah, we'll definitely have Tim on there so he can tell us about his stuff.
Well, so I do. Sometimes I have the option to do solo shows. So I wanted to do kind of like a first season here of like 20 episodes.
Yeah.
And I've only the first episode is solo, because I was like, people are gonna be busy or cancel. I'm like, whenever there's a hole, I'll just do a solo episode.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
then I haven't had to do any.
It's so awesome. Yeah, like I'm so excited for you. I remember we talked about this over a year ago, and you're just like, yeah, that'd be really fucking cool. And now here you are doing it, like, you know, in it, doing it. It's so cool.
Not for nothing, and not to pander, but I kind of taking my cues from a lot of the badass women I know. Somebody like Annie who just does things.
Oh my God,
Annie
you know I
who
love
just
Annie.
Does things.
We talked about Annie.
But you're the
so
same
much.
thing. Like you're just doing things. You know, fucking Heather Janowski's just doing things.
Yeah.
Like watching all these people that are like hit a point where it's like, no, fuck that. I'm just gonna do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm nowhere near as successful as any of you guys by any means. And I don't know that I ever will be. But it's a matter of just being like, yeah, fuck it, just do it.
Dude,
like we said earlier
it's so
today.
funny that you brought those two specific ladies. I've got the biggest crush on those two women.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Like, I feel like, man, I want to be them when I grow up, you know? Like, they're just so cool, you know? Annie's an awesome-ass mom, but she's also a crazy, awesome entrepreneur, and she's driven, and she's ridiculously smart, and she's so graceful, and she's so kind, and everything. Like,
She's also real.
Oh my God, she's so real. Like,
I feel like it's all that stuff you just said.
I feel bad sometimes because I can literally just dump on her. I can dump everything on her, and she takes it all, and it's just like, sometimes I need to like, okay, Court,
that's the
calm
takeaway
down.
here is that Annie Clark is a good dumpster.
Oh my God, I love Annie so much. And Heather's a badass. I've always like thought she was a badass. She's just always this cool ass chick, kicking ass with doing her hair salon stuff. Her style and her vibe, I just like dig it, dude. She's so cool.
She's awesome. Same with Amy out there killing it.
Yep.
Just sold her two studios.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just ridiculous.
Baddies.
Yeah.
To even be thought of as like kind of like cool like that, it's just like huge compliment.
Don't short sell yourself. Like you're in the same category.
Oh God, I wish. That'd be cool. They're
We
awesome.
were just talking about how you haven't had to have somebody cut you a paycheck for almost 10 years. That's success.
I mean,
that's badass.
It's
boss
not
bitch
a glamorous. It's not really a glamorous thing. So
well,
it's like,
are you looking for something glamorous or to have your own business?
Yeah.
Right? You have an awesome house. You've got 2 kids. You're taking care of everybody, and you're doing it on a business you built.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sell you. This would be you up there being like, yeah, fuck, he's not wrong.
Well, thanks. I mean, I feel like I'm barely making it, dude. I'm barely getting there. I'm barely. So,
like, I guarantee if you talk to any of those girls, for as incredible as they are, every single one of them is gonna be like, I'm just barely making it.
Oh man, they don't
promise
act like
you.
it. They don't. It does not show. I love those girls. I love those girls.
When this
so much.
comes out, they're gonna message you.
Heather and Annie, I love you. Annie, you know. Annie, you know. I tell you all the time. But Heather, I love you too.
They're gonna message you and be like, just so you understand, we're just barely making it.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Well, we can leave it on that. We love all the strong women are like, how fucking lucky are we?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the men are handsome and adorable and doing well as well, but it's not their time.
We're all doing our thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we're all still friends. And that's why we commit to trying to stay as close as we can.
Yeah.
And, you know, we disappear, we come back. Like, it's fucking awesome.
There's an unconditional love, I feel like, between all of us, no matter where everybody's at.
And that's a key trigger right there is the unconditional part.
Yeah.
Because like we've all done things to each other. We've been through things. We've all had our ups and downs individually with each other and things like that. and it's still all that's left when you tear all this away is love.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the unconditional part. Like, it's not.
And it's so obvious, like, when it's like a lot of people say that about their friends, but like this group, it's like a fucking love fest when we hang out. Yeah. Everybody's so sweet, and like yeah. it really is. Like, you know, people are having deep conversations here and there, and everybody's really connected, and it's like, I just feel like it's better. It's better than how it looks. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I'm always curious. It's got to be tough. Like, do you ever think about it? At some point, we didn't talk about this at all, and I don't want to get too deep into it now, but at some point, you'll have a boyfriend again, or you'll start dating again. Mm-hmm. Are you ever like, how the fuck am I going to bring an outsider into this thing? Obviously, they have to be awesome.
Yeah, I feel like...
They have to understand all that from the get-go.
Yeah.
Also, they have to be accepted by everybody.
Yeah.
Like, it's intimidating.
It is, and I feel like I'm like a hopeless romantic, and I feel like, you know, it'd be great if I could just find somebody that kind of like is around here,
yeah, and
kind of like gets it, or is like
if
in
only
the group,
there was somebody you talked to that was in the group.
I mean, like, if I could just pluck any of these guys out.
Let's get as uncomfortable as possible.
Oh God,
I'm just kidding.
But you know, I mean, yeah, I feel like it is really hard, and I'm very protective of like this, and I wouldn't.
I think if when outsiders start coming in general, I think you start seeing a lot of that overprotectiveness come out.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Especially
depending on who the person is, where it's like, because I know this person's backstory, and if this bitch or this asshole starts fucking with them, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I feel like we've all, you know, we know. Yeah,
we've all come up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I it's one of my favorite things. Like, I really like that, but I'm always curious about being an outsider coming in. It gives me a lot of, like, I really, really admire people like you, like Annie's husband, he's fucking awesome.
He's like the group now.
Right, exactly. Like, he's just here.
Yeah.
He's just part of the group now. But, like, it's got to be tough to break through that, or to even accept it, like, even though...
We're so co-ed.
Yeah.
We're so co-ed, which I feel like is not that common. I mean, maybe it is, but, like, I mean, we're just, it's so, I don't know.
I don't know.
It could be super weird for somebody that, like, has, like, if I brought a guy and he's got his guy friends.
Sure.
But he's not friends with a bunch of girls.
Right.
And then he comes to a Christmas party and he's like, oh my God, you guys are all, like, hugging each other.
Right.
And
we're a family.
Yeah, literally. Like, there's no...
For a lot of us, we're not close with our family. This is our family.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thought of bringing somebody into my life in general just, like, kind of fucking scares me.
I agree completely. Like, it's one of those things that I was always so focused on hoping someday it happens, and then dealing with whatever tragedy derails that. And then at this point, I'm like, it would just be nice to have a conversation with somebody that didn't annoy the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I do that.
Dude, I totally get it.
I just, like, it'd be cool to connect with I think that's why it's easy to get carried away. You know, like when we first met and had our first talked and hung out, we had this amazing conversation. We also did a bunch of mushrooms beforehand and got really deep. I think it's easy to kind of get caught up in that.
But it's one of my favorite hangouts ever of all time.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
But I also think we've bonded for life in that one conversation.
Me too.
But it's easy to get caught up in that and be like, all right, do you want that permanently or is this just a thing?
Yeah.
And I think that's where it can get confusing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, because it's easy to just be like, well, why would we just always do that?
Yeah.
But then you're like, well, because there's no substance there. That was, it was what it was, a drug-induced conversation.
Well,
that was beautiful.
That was beautiful for what that was right there. But like, that's not going to be our everyday.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that was a beautiful moment that we shared. But we could in a million years try to recreate that. You know what I mean?
I would never try to recreate.
Not to say that we couldn't hang out all the time and have awesome conversations.
Sure,
like, absolutely.
but it would be different every time.
But yeah, this is kind of like, where is that?
Yeah.
You know, where's the balance?
Exactly, because it's like, okay, I can get along with this person in this situation. What's it like when, you know, there's nothing to do and you're just vibing at home? Is that comfortable? What's it like when we have to go to a party with my friends? What are their friends like? Like, there's so many variables that it does just feel overwhelming. Like,
it does. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, that's why I'm like terrified. Like, I don't ever want to, like, I don't want to say this. I don't want to put that in the universe, but I'm like, I don't want to go through that again. I'm out of the game, you know? Like, seriously, it's like, I don't want those uncomfortable feelings.
Do you
I really
feel
don't.
like you're, like, in a space, though, where you're closed off to it?
Yeah, not
Like,
intentionally.
right.
It didn't start. It started off in like kind of intentional. Like I was like, I need to find myself. I need to be
Yeah.
alone. But then, I mean, it's been 4 years now, and it's like, all right, girl, is this where we're staying?
Right.
You know, like,
Yeah.
and I kind of think about that sometimes. I do go back and forth, like, and then always just like, yeah, I'm staying.
Right.
You're right where I'm at. You know, it's like,
Or you even
it's scary.
You'll
It's so
dip a toe
scary.
in and you're like, oh, nope, not ready yet.
Yeah.
This is still gross out here.
Yeah. It's hard, and I didn't intend to set out to be like alone.
Yeah.
For any, I didn't even really, you know, I didn't know how whatever I was gonna need to be by myself. Like
Sure.
I figured once I started liking somebody, I would start dating somebody.
Yeah.
You know, but that never happened.
It seems so simple. Like that's kind of like what I feel too. Where it's like, oh, you never got married or had kids, and it's like I've never been in a relationship that felt
like I wanted to.
like that was a possibility. Like I've
Yeah.
had successful relationships and failed relationships and traumatic relationships and a lot of brokenness done to me. But at the same time, like I'm still a hopeless romantic.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm not looking for it intentionally at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like if something shows up. Like I'm open. I'm always open to anything, possibility or anything. But just the idea of having to like go out and find it or wanting to go out and find it sounds terrible.
I'm really closed off to the thought of getting hurt again.
Yeah.
I got my heart like really hurt, like
Yeah.
and just the thought of like being that vulnerable again.
Yeah.
Like it's like not worth it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't really break my own heart.
Right.
And I don't be sad over my own self too much.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Which
I don't
makes
want to.
sense. Yeah.
I got too much. I gotta. It's self care. I gotta make sure
Absolutely.
that I'm feeling good
Yeah.
enough to like
also, what
do
you're
what I
talking
want.
about is we finally hit a point where we have healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Because we might not have an idea of what we're looking for per se, but we've been through enough to know what we're not going to deal with.
Right.
And what we're not interested in working through.
Yeah.
And every time we're recognizing more red flags.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Which
So
is
you
something
feel
to be
better
super
prepared.
grateful about.
100%.
You know,
like,
yeah.
You feel better prepared. A lot of times it's the best you hope for. I feel
Yeah.
better prepared for tomorrow.
Yeah. Just wiser.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good place to end it. We're better prepared for tomorrow.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thanks,
coming to do this.
Dad.
Appreciate you so much.